Hello guys, welcome back to my group and this is group 6. Okay, before we start our presentation, I will explain the sum of my friend. And this is sum my friend. Number 1 is me, that is Mohar Nurzaini. And number 2 is Ahmad Facan Mudofar. And number 3 is Muzainatun Nadifah. And number 4 is Muhammad Dimas Panji Wijaya. Number 5 Anis Indah Lestari. Number 6 that is Safira Evidia Aurelia. And the last is Muhammad Solauddin. Okay, in the first presentation will be present by Anis Indah Lestari. Time is yours.
I will explain about sentence and proposition. A sentence is something that expresses complete ideas, but sentences are easier to understand than ideas. A proposition is that part of the meaning of a clause or sentence that is content. The proposition can be known through the various predicate and non-phrase. Example 1. 1a. We walk in the park. 1b. Our walk in the park. 1c. For us to walk in the park. We can say sentence 1a is a complete sentence, starting with a capital letter and ending with a period. While 1b and 1c are not complete sentences. However, 1a, 1b, and 1c contain the same semantic content. The same relationship to action carried out by two or more people at the same time. The difference between these three sentences is the grammatical structure. Sentence 1a makes a statement, while sentence 1b and 1c are part of the statement. Sentence 1b and sentence 1c should be like this. 1b. We enjoy it by walk in the park. And then 1c. It is not too late for us to walk in the park. Example 2. 2a. Helen put on the sweater. 2b. Helen put a sweater on. Example 2a and example 2b consist of different sentences, but convey the same message and express the same preposition. Example 3. 3a. Richard wrote the report. 3b. Richard is the one who wrote the report. 3c. The report was written by Richard. And 3d. The report is what Richard wrote. We might say that the fourth sentence express a single proposition, but the different focus. 3b and 3c provide confirmation to Richard. And then 3d confirm on the report. And 3a has no clear focus. In a proposition, the sentence may provide focus as in this example above. Example 4. Richard wrote a report and Helen did too. This sentence has two propositions, namely Richard wrote a report and Helen wrote the report. The description of the sentence is a syntactic analysis. The description of a proposition is a semantic analysis. There are a few different ways for analyzing syntactic, but in general, the function of this sentence is known as subject, predicate, object, complement, and adverbial. Example sentence and how to analyze a preposition. The old man drinks a hot coffee. Example of preposition from the sentence above. First, the man is old. Second, The coffee is hot. And the last, he drinks it. So, the preposition consists of one verb unit and one or more nominal units.
Okay, the next presentation will be explained by Muhammad Salahuddin. That is will be present about semantic roles.
Okay, in this chapter I will deliver the material that titled semantic roles. Okay, uh, in this chapter we will focus on the valency theory. The valency theory is a description of the semantic potential of predicates in terms of the number and types of arguments which might occur with them. For example, the sentence, a window brooks. A window brook. This is simple sentence that have one predicate and one argument. Syntactically, the function of brook have the referring expression to the subject, a window. In semantic analysis, it's not about subject, but from that sentence, brook have more specific function, the affective. A referring expression in the role of affective tells what undergoes the action indicated by the verb and what is changed or affected by this action. Okay, the next example is Tom broke a window. For this sentence, in syntax, a window is the object of the verb broke, and Tom is the agent. But in other hand, semantic tells a window have the role of affective. So a window is a referring expression that tells who and what is instigates the action of the verb. Okay, let's do the next example. I have four sentences. First sentence is, it is snowing. My brother snores. Chris is making an omelette. Agnes is writing her mother a letter. Each of these four sentences is longer than the one before it because it has more arguments. The verbs know, sleep, make, and write have different valencies. Respectively, valencies of 0. In the first sentence, it is snowing. Yes. Snow have 0 of valencies. And then one valencies in the sentence, my brother snores. Yes. Snores have one valencies. It is my brother. And then two valencies in the sentence, Chris is making an omelette. The verb making have two valencies. They are Chris and omelette. And then the last sentence have three valencies. In the sentence, Agnes is writing her mother a letter. The verb writing, the verb write have three valencies. They are Agnes, and then her mother, and the last letter. Okay, and each of them is typical of a whole group of predicates and will be delivered in the next explanation.
Okay, the next presentation will be present by Ahmad Farjan Mudulfar. Thanks is yours.
Valency 0. It is snowing. The first sentence in the group above has the verb snow, and the subject is it, but it doesn't name anything. The sentence has a subject because English requires a subject, but the subject doesn't correspond to anything in the underlying proposition. We say that snow is a zero-argument verb. Other zero-argument verbs are seen in the following. Number 1, it's raining. It sleeted or yesterday. It has been thundering in the west. English requires the presence of it with weather verbs like rain, snow, sleet, thunder, but it does not refer to anything. These verbs are among the few in the language that do not require some referent to be named in the sentence. Tense and aspect must be expressed. Rains, rained, is snowing, has been snowing, and indications of time and place can be added, like yesterday, in the west, etc. But sentence is complete without anything being named.
Okay, the next presentation will be explained by Safira F.
Valency 1. Valency 1. One argument predicate contains a verb that has a subject but no object, which means it is an intransitive verb. The argument contains a subject and predicate in the rules of actor or action, affected or event, them or description, them or identity. Introduction to text. Example A. What's happened to me? Hit off. What's happened to me is argument. Hit off is predicate. In these sentences, hit off is one argument clause. It has no object. The stuff is an intransitive verb. B. Your girl realized that is result of question. Argument plus predicate, affected plus event, Gregor first realized. In these sentences, there is again one argument with no object. Yet, here the nature of argument is different. The verb here is even, which the subject undergoes.
Okay, and the next presentation will be explained by Muhammad Dimas. Silahkan.
Okay, the next one is valency 2. Valency 2 is the sentences having subject and object. Both are known to have two argument predicates. The arguments may occur in the rule of the first agent action affected, and then agent action effect, and then actor action place, and then affecting effect affected, and then affected effect affecting, and then term link associate. Jadi di valency 2 ini sangat berbeda dengan di valency 1 karena valency 1 hanya memiliki satu argument atau subjek penting, sedangkan di valency 2 memiliki dua arguments, yaitu ada subjek dan juga ada objek. Nah, untuk patternnya sendiri itu memiliki 6 seperti yang sudah disebutkan sebelumnya. Itu adalah penyebutan subjek dan objek dalam. Untuk lebih jelasnya, kita bahas di slide selanjutnya. Kinds of semantic rules. The first, actor. The rule of an argument that performs some action without affecting any other entity. The example, Sylvia. 2. Affected. The argument that undergoes a change due to some event or is affected by some other entity. Example, window. 3. Affecting. The argument that without any action affects another entity. Example, opera. 4. Agent. The argument that by its action affects some other entity. Example, Tom. 5. Associate. The argument that tells the status or identity of another argument. Example, student. 6. Effect. The argument that comes into existence through the action of the predicate. Example, pie. 7. Place. The argument that names the location in which the action of the predicate occurs. Example, ladder. 8. Them. The argument that is the topic of the predicate doesn't express action, a stative predicate. Example, Audrey. Jadi, nama-nama yang tadi telah disebutkan adalah pengganti pengucapan dari subjek, objek, dan juga verb dalam mengidentifikasi kalimat pada pelajaran semantik ini. Dan di sana juga telah dijelaskan mengenai tempat-tempat yang kata tersebut menjadi tepat pada tempatnya. Oke, for the next slide, kita akan melihat perbedaan dari ketiga valensi dan juga mengetahui penyebutan dari nama-nama atau kinds of semantic rules yang sudah disebutkan sebelumnya. The example of sentence analysis. Contoh pertama dari valensi 1, the gun fell. Dia memiliki satu argumen dan juga satu predikat, yaitu gun sebagai affected dan juga fall sebagai event. Gun di sini terpengaruh oleh verb atau event dari yaitu fall. Lalu contoh kedua dari valensi 2 yaitu Tom broke a window. Kalimat ini memiliki satu argumen yaitu argumen 1, memiliki predicate dan juga memiliki argumen 2 yaitu Tom sini sebagai agent atau argumen 1, lalu break sebagai action atau predicate, lalu window sebagai affected atau yang terpengaruh dari action. Dan window ini juga disebut sebagai argumen 2. Lalu contoh ketiga yaitu valensi 0. It is raining. Dia mengandung argumen dan juga predicate. Namun argumen dan predicate di sini tidak mengandung makna yang berbeda atau menjadi satu kesatuan. It itu sebagai theme dan raining sebagai description. Jika digabungkan itu menjadi satu kesatuan yang tidak bisa dipisah artinya. It's raining yaitu hujan sekarang, seperti itu. Okay, for the next explanation we will be explained by our friends. Thank you.
The next explanation is about some changes in valency. We need to take account not only of how many arguments a verb may have, but also how many it must have. For example, Agnes wrote her mother a letter. It is possible to omit her mother or a letter or both of them and just say Agnes wrote a letter or Agnes wrote to her mother or Agnes wrote. The sentence is less informative when it has fewer arguments. Some predicates can be used in a sentence that has two arguments and in another sentence that has only one argument, as with Tom broke the window and the window broke. The another example is the car needs a new battery. Predicates like need always have two arguments. Certain verb, need, use, want, and others must have two arguments. And then we add lunch in the kitchen and we add in the kitchen. The predicate eat is inherently two arguments because the action it refers to two arguments. If you eat something. But in English, we can use the predicate eat without mentioning what is eaten. And then Maureen put the baby in the tub and Maureen put in the tub. Certain predicates like put are reflexive, self-directed if they occur without an object. First sentence has two obvious arguments, Maureen the actor and the baby the affected. In second sentence, the argument Maureen could be said to have two roles, actor and affected, since it is Maureen who bathes and Maureen who gets bathed. Note that with some other predicates we have to use a reflexive pronoun to indicate a reflexive meaning. I heard myself, they introduce themselves. It is possible to say Maureen bathed herself, but this sentence conveys no information different from the shorter Maureen bathed. In the language closest to English, the use of a reflexive pronoun is more usual. At any rate, the languages which are closest to English, Germanic, Romance, and Slavic typically use reflexive constructions in the equivalent of the ball rolls and the window bricks and the like.
Okay, that is the presentation from group 6. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.